Hello and welcome to high school football, brought to you here tonight from Long Beach Veterans Memorial Stadium, where tonight two 5-1 Sunset League teams are going to match up and slug it out. The Sunset League Championship likely will be determined here in Week 2. It's the Los Alamitos Griffins, 5-1 at home, hosting the Edison Chargers. Hi again, everybody. Fritz Pollard, Kevin Robinson. Great to have you along as Los Alamitos Television proudly presents high school football. Doesn't get any better than this. These are two powerhouses in the Sunset League. They're number 1 and number 3. Edison with the number 1 in the Southwest League, number 3 in the Southwest League. It is going to be a matchup and a big test. Los Alamitos coming off of a huge victory last week against Marina. They shut the Vikings out. Gave Coach Barnes his 300th win. They're going to need an inspired game like that one again tonight to win this game.
They're going to need an inspired game, Fritz, and they're going to need a physical game tonight because this Edison Charger team is going to bring it to them tonight, both offensively and defensively. The Chargers, like you said, number 1 in the Southwest Conference, number 5 in Orange County, and somewhere in the top 15 in the state. This is going to be the first test for the Griffins tonight.
Well, if you look at it, and some might argue that the strength of schedule that Los Alamitos played might be a little weaker overall, Edison chooses to play a little tougher matchup. How does that play in a game like this tonight?
Well, you know, every year it's always been the same. Edison has always loaded up in the preseason. Los Al has played a little bit of a softer schedule. However, you look at what happens when they play each other, you wouldn't tell that. The last few years, it's always going down to the wire, and there's always something crazy that happens in the end.
Well, this has almost become a rivalry game. In the good old days in the Empire League, it was Esperanza. Now it's truly become a rivalry game with Esperanza. Let's take a look at the other side of things. Coach Dave White, also 5-1. They've played Servite. They've played Mater Dei. Close games. They're 5-1. They've got an awesome defense.
They are physical on defense. They come out. They usually line up in a base 40 defense, and they bring it. You know, their coverages are basic. They don't do anything out of the ordinary. They're just a real hard-nosed physical football team.
Well, and if you look at it on the defensive side, Edison, 20 sacks on defense, 6 interceptions, and they've only given up 5 points average per game.
You know, we were talking about it earlier. They've given up 5 points average. They haven't given up more than 1 touchdown, with the exception of Mater Dei, the whole season. So it's going to be a real physical knockdown, drag-out fight tonight. Well,
and Cody Marshall for Los Alamitos really peaking at the right time. He grew into that position, taking over for an injured quarterback, and at this point is really leading this team. We saw it last week against Marina. Ladies and gentlemen, this is great high school football. Don't go away. You're not going to want to miss this one. From the Vet, it's the Griffins and the Chargers coming right up. We'll be right back.
Quit playing around and clean out the garage.
Quit playing around, huh? I'll show her. Let's go, Joe.
Clean out your garage and sell Play It Again Sports, your gently used sports and fitness gear.
Welcome to the Vet. Fritz Pollard, Kevin Robinson. It's week 2 of the Sunset League season. Here we are, high above Vet Stadium. Let's go downstairs to the coin toss.
Visiting team gets to call the coin toss. We got a tip. If you can see it in the light, we got a tail is the eagle, and the head is the head, obviously. What are you going to call? Tails. Tough decision. Tails. Okay, he's going to call tails. I'm going to flip it. If I drop it, we do it over. You thought I was going to drop it, right? An old shortstop like me. Okay, what'd you say? Tails, right? It is a tail. Okay, white is one to toss. You wanted to throw, right? Okay, wait a second. Wait, you don't get that choice. Okay, you want the ball, right? Okay, now you're going to kick from the clock. Okay, so swing around so you're over there.
Shoulder to shoulder on me, White.
I get to do this to ESPN. Okay, guys.
So there you have it. Edison Chargers won the toss. They will defer. They'll get the ball in the second half. And Los Alamitos and Cody Marshall are going to get things underway on offense. to get week 2 of the Sunset League started. There's Coach John Barnes, 300 wins. I asked him last week, what's your next goal? He says 301. Real simple.
You know what? Any head coach worth his weight, that's going to be a stock answer, even when you get to that 300 mark.
Los Alamitos 5-1. Their only loss to Charter Oaks so far, that was in week number 2. And I said in the opener, the Griffins played an inspiring game behind that 299th to 300th win that they gave Coach John Barnes. A lot of former coaches, players here. It was electric down on the field. Great ceremony afterwards. And there you see the Griffins coming on the field. Kevin, we talked about it in the beginning of the game. They are going to need a inspired, physical performance at every level of this game if they want to stay in it.
Yeah, offensively, the Griffins are really going to have to find themselves early. You don't want to get down. You don't want to get pushed around in any of the first couple of series. You know you're going against a physical defense, the most physical defense that you faced all season, and so you want to get out and get started on the right foot.
And there come the Edison Chargers, also at 5-1. Their only loss to Mater Dei, and it was a close one. Played a very tough pre-league, and it's just two different philosophies from coaching standpoint. For Los Alamitos, they put up a lot of points in the early going. They only gave up 10 points average per game. Edison Chargers, we said earlier, gave up 5 a game. Los Alamitos has the edge in points for. So far on the season, they gave up or put on the board over 200 points. Edison, on the other hand, 137. So certainly the firepower of Los Alamitos being noted in the scores, and yet maybe a little softer opponent overall.
You know, you can't tell by the standings or by the rankings. You can tell that the coaches throughout the division still respect the Griffins an awful lot in the tradition that they have at the school. That said, you can't get much softer on the schedule, but you can't play any better than the Griffins have played in the first part of the season.
Los Alamitos with 219 points on the board in the first 6 weeks. So Cody Marshall will start things off, the 6'4", 200-pound senior, 62% completion ratio, 932 yards, 9 TDs, only 3 interceptions, had a great game last week. And, of course, the defense for Los Alamitos, you've said it, they fly to the ball, and not necessarily one standout guy, as you commented.
Not a lot of stars on defense, but collectively one big star. The Griffins don't give up a lot of points. They're playing the same as far as how they've played in the last few years with the physicalness of the defense, the toughness of the defense. The defense has played a bend but don't break, but they're also, like I said, they're very, very physical and tough to contend with.
Back deep for Los Alamitos, Deshaun Gordon, number 1 on the far side. And on the near side, number 5, Kendall Brownlow. And Hunter Kelly, 6-foot junior, going to kick it off for the Edison Chargers. Both deep men for Los Alamitos stand on their 5-yard line. Great night for football.
Yes, it absolutely is. It's a nice, crisp night, and it's calmed down a little bit. We're away from that heat, so this is absolutely a great night for football.
So there's Kelly. Just moments away from getting week number 7 of this 2012 season underway. Week number 2, Sunset League, taken on the 9-yard line. Kendall Brownlow finds a little crease, dives across the 25-yard line, and that is where Los Alamitos will set up shop. Now, Rowdy Bush, number 77. One of the gentlemen that's been in and out. Big loss for the Griffins tonight on the O-line is Alex Redmond, dislocated his elbow before last week's game. Lots of injuries just a day or two before a game. He's out, the commit to Oregon. Big loss on the line. Rowdy Bush in there. We'll get you the starting lineup here in just a moment for the Los Alamitos Griffins. 1st and 10, mark it on the 28-yard line. Los Alamitos with Cody Marshall in the backfield. Give it to Gordon. Going far side, will be out near the 30-yard line.
Yeah, Edison comes out in a base 8-man front, 44 defense with 3 deep. Tough to run against a physical football team there, but the Griffins trying to stretch him with that jet sweep outside.
That jet sweep has been very productive behind the fast running of Deshaun Gordon, the 5'6", 165-pound junior. 2nd down, Cody Marshall, the screen pass. Marshall on the other side. That's across the 30-yard line before he is taken down.
Yeah, quick bubble screen outside to Gordon. Puts him in a third down. Third down and 8, third and long for the Griffins.
Just underway, 11:09 here in the first quarter. And that defense of the Edison Chargers, very tough.
Yeah, a lot of times teams have a tendency, especially against the multiple receiver set, 3 or 4 receiver set, to get out of their base defense. Right now, they're standing at 3-man deep.
Cody to the air, second pass, and there is that rush. We talked about it, the 21st sack of the season, and the Edison Chargers are known for it. Zach Donnelly with the sack there. Garrett Garcia.
Garcia from the outside, from the defensive end position. A lot of pressure put on Marshall, but Marshall was very smart in holding on to that football and not throwing it away.
Dylan Luther back for the Chargers. He'll stand on his 40-yard line. And Blake Johnson for Los Alamitos will square up at about the 8. Blake Johnson, the sophomore, 6 foot, 180-pounder, awesome so far punting this year. He's going to need a good one off his foot to get these Chargers back a little bit deeper. And we have whistles.
Yeah, a little bit of movement up front. You said he's had a good year so far punting. Not that the Griffins have had to punt the ball an awful lot this year.
And this is not going to help field position for Los Alamitos. Blake Johnson moving it back.
No, unless you get an absolute bomb off the punter's foot, the Chargers are going to be in good field position to start.
So Blake Johnson now lines up on the 3-yard line. And Luther now moves up to his 45. Kick is away. Nice punt. And that will drive Luther back. Great punt inside the 35-yard line. Good pursuit by Los Alamitos. And a tall order for Blake Johnson, and he delivers.
Yeah, that's about as good a position as the Griffins could come out, being backed up with a punter on his goal line darn near.
Well, and I haven't seen kicking like that consistently since we saw Chris Cluey here, and Chris Cluey's now kicking for the Minnesota Vikings, so he's in good company.
Definitely good company.
So, first possession for the Chargers, the senior Alex Torgerson, 6'3", 210-pounder, thrown for just shy of 1,000 yards, 44% completion ratio. Torgerson going to run it, and straight up the middle, number 21, Ross.
Now, with Edison coming out, 2-back set out of the I-back, what they'd like to do now, they have a running back by committee. They've got a lot of guys that get a lot of carries in there throughout the night, but they'd like to develop a little bit more offensive consistency and from the quarterback spot. They'd like to get better than, obviously, 45% passing out of their quarterback.
Marquise Ross in at tailback, number 21. They'll give it to him again. Why not? He picked up 7 on the first drive. He'll be out near the first down marker. Looks like they're going to mark it just about a yard shy. Let's talk about that O-line for the Chargers. They are big. Egnatovich, 293 pounds. Frost, 360 at the left guard. Salutu, 260 at center. Fauga, 278 at right guard. And Sosubi, 6'6", 285. They actually average 295 on the line.
Yeah, that's a big, almost D1 front line. It looks like after the officials took a second look at it that is clearly a first down.
And you can see that O-line right there. Elijah Herrera, number 9, checks in as Ross checks out. There's that running back by committee. Always a fresh set of legs. Torgerson to the air. Hasn't been terribly efficient. We've got a flag on the play and a sack for Los Alamitos.
Yeah, a lot of pressure brought up the middle. As soon as Torgerson came out of the play-action pass, nowhere to go on that.
There you see it hold. Let's finish off the Edison offense. Alex Torgerson, the quarterback. Elijah Herrera, the starting running back as it was given to us. And then the wideouts, Vargas, Barkowski, number 19, Stefanich, and the tight end is Boyer. On the defensive side of the ball, on the front line for Los Alamitos, Garrett King, Trevor Brand, Michael Hayden. Our linebackers, Small, Brantley, Seichi, and Locker. Your corners, Worthy and Stea, and your safeties, King and Quarterly. So mark the ball out at the 38-yard line after the penalty. 8:39 here in the first quarter. Each team with one possession.
Yeah, penalty declined on that holding penalty with the sack.
Herrera gets the call. Up the middle, big hole, nice tackle there. Out near the original line of scrimmage before the penalty and the sack was marked off. So a lot of running lane right up the middle there, Kevin.
Yeah, whenever your cornerback has to come up and make the tackle 8 yards down the field, that's not a good thing. Worthy came up and made the stop. Right now, just running base plays just off tackle, Edison's getting a good push up front.
Second down and 12. Mark it on the 46. High snap. Controlled by Torgerson, rolling out, broken play, and almost picked off. Griffin in the neighborhood, James Stea, another injury that was missing during a chunk of that pre-league back in. Griffin's welcoming James Stea, the 160-pound senior.
Yeah, good break on the football on that. Not a good decision by the Edison quarterback, Torgerson. Would have been better served by either tucking it and running and throwing that out of bounds. Good defensive stand by the Griffins.
Luke Pastel back to receive the punt. Nice punt by the Chargers. Fair catch called for. Take it at the 10-yard line. And Luke Pastel will offer up his offense, the second look of this second week here for Sunset League play. Let's take a look at the offense for Los Alamitos. Cody Marshall's your senior quarterback. Richie Molina, your starting running back. Your wideouts, Deshaun Gordon, Kendall Brownlow, Luke Pastel, and Josh Davis. We'll get you your line here. Alanoff, Ampudia, King, Rowdy Bush, and Lopez. The biggest missing link there is Redmond. Handoff up the middle to Molina.
Griffin's looking to get Molina off early here in the first quarter. But, you know, when you've got a multiple receiver set, Fritz, like they do, they're running 3-4 receivers, and you've got that basic 8-man front, it's very, very tough to run the football. Look for Los Alamitos to try and hit some of those slot guys in the seam routes, against his defense.
Pickup of 2, fakes it to Molina. Toss out, that is complete on the far side. Josh Davis. Davis, before tonight, 125 yards, 18-yard average, 2 touchdowns on 7 completions.
Nice play on the stop pattern by Marshall.
First and 10, Griffins. They give it to Gordon, trying to find that seam. Dives ahead, maybe picks up 1.
Flying to the football, a host of Chargers in on that tackle.
So both defenses here tonight very stingy. Not giving up much.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, at the same time, both offenses kind of just trying to feel out that defense, not extending, throwing the ball downfield, not taking too many chances or any risks.
Second down and 9 for the Griffins. I formation. Oh, busted play there. Cody Marshall looking for someone else. And it looked like Kendall Brownlow maybe on the jet sweep, but they didn't give it up, and Molina wasn't expecting the ball either.
Yeah, I think they were coming back on the backside. Molina may have come in on the backside, or the quarterback went the wrong way, but it puts them in a 3rd and long, 3rd and 12 situation, just the type of situation you do not want to put your quarterback in and give the defense an opportunity to just pin their ears back and come at you.
Well, and Cody Marshall, a little dinged up there. Already 1 sack for the Chargers tonight. That gives them 21 on the season. And staring at 3rd and 13, you got to believe the Chargers are going to bring it.
Yeah, it looked like Coach Barnes wanted a timeout, take another look at it. You know, in this situation, like I said, where you don't want to give up any type of a big play and you haven't been the type of team to throw the ball down the field an awful lot, look for some sort of screen draw, something really conservative is what I would think that they're going to come out with.
5:40 here in the first quarter, flying by as a lot of tonight's offense for both teams has been on the ground.
You know, like I said, 3rd down, 13. Coach Barnes, you want to come out and look at it after you've looked at see how they came out on defense. Every once in a while, Edison will switch up on their defense. They go with a 2 deep and give a different look. It'll be interesting to see what they do when they come out, knowing that this is a 3rd down and long, a passing situation.
We'll get you that starting defense for Edison on the line. Ballier, Ashoff, Donnelly, and Garcia. Your linebackers, Herrera, Rice, Perez, Reyes. Your corners, Maxwell, Goudreau, and your safety is Luther. 3rd and 13. Cody Marshall back. Pressure. Ball looked like it was a forward moving arm. 2nd sack of the night, 22nd on the season. Cody Marshall pushed into that position, as you talked about. The Chargers not going to let him go and just have a bunch of time back there.
Yeah, that's why that 2nd down mishap in the backfield is so important, because you don't want to put yourself in 3rd and long where they can just bring the pressure. So we have the pressure coming in. The pocket just collapses, and I think Marshall's very fortunate that he was able to even get that ball off. And when you look at it again, good thing there's not instant replay in high school football.
Yeah, maybe not. I said his arm was coming forward. Yeah. Maybe not. Blake Johnson, fair catch on the 40-yard line, and Luther gets the handle on that one, and the 2nd offensive series for the Chargers coming up.
Yeah, the Griffins very, very fortunate to come away with that ball after that apparent fumble.
Our statistician already getting us information, and you want to talk about a defensive game. Los Alamitos, a -4 yards on the night with 4:52 left here in the first quarter.
You know, the sacks definitely don't help, and the fumbles in the backfield or the miscommunication in the backfield don't help.
Bit of a jumbo backfield. Give it to Ross. Fights forward, maybe picks up 3.
You know, this is the thing with Edison. They're just going to try and play a ball control, pound it, play action pass type of offensive control game. It's what they did last week. They had a couple of big plays against San Clemente, but look for them to, after they start out running the ball like this, run a lot of play action pass, dump off on crossing routes to their big tight end.
Torgerson is thrown for 926 yards. Run for 33 on the season. Gives it to Ross up the middle. And on 2nd down will be to your favorite reference, 3rd and medium.
Third and medium. And you know what? I'll take that every time. There's a huge difference in this one here, being 2.5 yards along 3, 3rd and short. I'd take that any day, obviously, over 3rd and 13. But you can tell, you see, number one, it's a field position game so far for Edison. And they're really in a good spot. The way they're running the football, they're making it look easy if they can get out of here without any mistakes in the series.
Now Rice checks in at the tailback position and gets the call. Los Alamitos not having anything to do with that. Stops short of the 1st down marker. May give him 1.5. So Donald Rice, number 25, gets his first carry of the night.
Well, I spoke too soon. They made it look made it look easy before the Griffins decided to stiffen up on defense here.
And Chargers are going to go for it. So with 4th and 1, 3:11, the first gutsy call of the night, and at this point they've been probably averaging at least 3 yards a pickup.
Yeah.
So probably good call for the Chargers.
I really would be surprised if they snap the football. There's my surprise.
Well, and upended, that is going to be very close. It looks like they stopped him. Rice denied, and so Los Alamitos stiffens up. And a gutsy call by Coach Dave White. You even said, I'll be surprised if they snap it. Maybe looking for Los Alamitos to jump off sides. And even behind that 295-pound average line, the Griffins get the stop.
Well, here's my first opportunity to play Monday morning quarterback or Friday night quarterback. Not a very good call, in my opinion, in the first quarter when momentum has not been established, but you're winning the field position game. Why give the Griffins life?
Well, and they've got in that offense, jogs onto the field. Cody Marshall, fake it to Gordon, fake it to Molina, going to the air, and that is a catch. And Los Alamitos has something rolling.
Good play call by the coaches for the Griffins. When you run that fake jet sweep to the outside, it draws that outside linebacker up. And so when that outside linebacker is pulled forward, you've got that easy out and that easy play right there.
Brownlow with the catch. 110 yards on the night. Correction, on the season, 18-yard average, 1 touchdown on 6 completions. Big one right there. Marshall, give it to Molina. Molina trying to find the crease on the outside. Does, gets around the corner. Pick up a 4.
Yeah, good pickup by Molina on a run play outside that really didn't look like it was going to pick up anything. So to get positive yards out of that is a good play.
Kevin, let's talk a little bit about going forward on 4th down. The momentum switch there. You saw the offense jog onto the field. They hit the deep or mid-level ball into the flat there to Brownlow. Another nice run. You can really feel how quickly that momentum shifts.
It shifts really, really, really fast.
2nd down and 7. Nice safe pass there. It'll be shy of the 1st down marker. And on the far side, Josh Davis.
You know, I talked earlier and talked about against this defense, hitting the seam routes are your, I would say, your high percentage or best options here. But if your linebackers aren't getting good drops to the flats, throwing that quick out or that stop pattern to the outside is perfect. What they're going to do is Edison's going to have to get their backers to get better drops out there to the Griffin receivers. If not, they'll get picked apart.
Likely 2-down territory for the Griffins. 3rd and 2. Molina hits a wall. This will be an interesting call now for Coach Barnes.
Well, Coach, sorry, Fritz, but Coach Barnes is in a better spot because, look, you're at the plus 22, 23-yard line. If you run some sort of play-action pass or get your quarterback moving is what you want to do. And the way they've been hitting that quick out, that quick stop pattern, that's also going to be available to them because the Edison outside backers aren't getting good drops.
And not a field goal on the season, so that takes away that option.
Well, you know, there's a lot of teams, including teams in this division. Tustin up the road or down the road here. I can't remember the last time they punted or tried for a field goal. So, you know, it's okay to go for it and just make everything 4-down territory when you're on the plus 40.
You can always expect a close game. If you look at the scores so far on the season, the Edison Chargers against Garfield, 24-0. Okay, week number 1. Villa Park, 27-7. Then you get into the close game. Servite, 6-0. Chargers win. Mater Dei, 20-14. Chargers lose. Then we go San Clemente, 31-3. Chargers win. Newport Harbor, 35-0. So that's kind of your pre-league setup. When you get into Sunset League and 2 powerful teams like this, you really do see a lot closer games. And special teams going to be critical, as they always are. And points, very important. So far tonight, Marshall, 4 for 4, 24 yards. This is him maturing before our eyes.
And you know what? Coach Barnes is putting him in good positions to succeed, as I would say every week. He's not giving him too much. Just give him just enough, give him the sure thing, and then let him open up as he begins to gain confidence.
4th down and 1.
As
Marshall,
get
in
him
the
moving.
air. That is complete. Gordon with the completion and 1st down. Nice pickup. That'll move it out to the 16-yard line. 1st down, Griffins.
Well, just as we said before the timeout, the safe play is to get your quarterback moving. If you get him moving, you have a run pass option. If you have some sort of breakdown on the outside, he can easily run for the 2 yards. And if not, it's just a pitch and catch to your receiver. Right, nice safe play, good call.
And I would think, Kevin, with the physical nature of this game, as you said, the longer the Griffins can keep this defense out there, the more you start to wear them down. Now, that's a long shot against a team like the Chargers. However, this possession for Los Alamitos, keeping this defense out on the field. Cody Marshall, they like that toss all night long. That one out to Josh Davis.
Listen, Marshall has started out 6 for 6, and there's a reason that he started out 6 for 6. It's plain and simple. They're not getting good drops from their outside backers. Pick out the completions and see where those completions are, and they're right there in front of the corner who has deep third. Those aren't on the cornerback. Those pass completions are on the outside linebacker.
So Cody Marshall staring down 2nd and 5. We're going to be at the snap, very close to 1 minute left here in the first quarter. Flying by. Gordon gives it to Molina. Molina forging ahead. Not a bad pickup on 2nd down. This will make a very interesting 3rd and short.
Well, see, when they were 2nd down 5, 2nd down 6, they figure, okay, we can run the football because we're in 4-down territory. They haven't had a lot of success running the football so far, but they're going to put themselves in position because one of these times they're going to get a corner who's going to get tired of having these passes dropped off in front of him, and they're going to be able to beat them deep.
32 seconds left. Los Alamitos will get one more play. 3rd down and 4. Give it to Gordon on that jet sweep. Molina out in front blocking. Pickup of maybe 1. So here you go. So far, 1 successful 4th down conversion. And will they let Cody Marshall roll out? 0 for 4 on 3rd down, coming from our statistician.
Well, this is going to give them an opportunity, Coach Barnes, to talk to his players on the way down and to get together with his coaching staff and discuss what he wants to run. What's been successful, obviously, have been the passes to the outside, whether Cody Marshall is on the move or whether he's taking a quick drop. Until Edison stops it, that's what they're going to have to continue to run, unless they think that they can do some sort of double move on the outside and take a shot at the end zone.
Any surprises in the first quarter? Hold that thought. Let's go downstairs to Keith Jones.
Talking to the Edison staff earlier this week, they made it very, very clear that they believe this is the league championship. I hate to say it that early in the game. They've said for the last 10 to 12 years, LaSalle and Edison have become the cream of the crop in league, and that at least one, if not both of those teams has been a champion, walked away with the championship. So they feel that even though we're only 2 games in the league play, tonight could decide, and most likely will decide, the league championship.
Thank you, Keith. Had a great conversation, Keith did, with Coach Dave White. And what a classy guy Coach White is. Been very respectful to us over the years, and there's a lot of respect. When I got here tonight, it's like every LaSalle coach was paired up with an Edison coach just chatting, and it's just a great environment. 2 teams that have a lot of respect for each other.
You know, you get that a lot, especially when you've got 2 long-time iconic coaches in the county playing in the same league against each other.
So Molina will be your lone setback, facing at 4th down and 4. So actually no pickup on that last play before the quarter break. To the air, the rollout. Now that isn't open. There it is, and Gordon again, that underneath pass, 7 for 7, if I'm not mistaken.
And you know what happens, Fritz, and I don't want to keep beating it to death, but when you give the quarterback the run-pass option, you have your quarterback be patient, just like Marshall has been, and he's been very patient. He lets the linebacker commit. Once that linebacker commits, easy pitch and catch. I love it because he's so consistent right now, and he's just pinpoint accuracy. He's playing a good game.
Molina with the call, trying to get to the outside, cuts it back inside, twist move, loses at least 1.
You know, they're having a tough time, whether it be the outside sweep or whether you have Molina trying to bounce it outside because they're playing that 4 linebacker set, that 8-man front. Edison is really flying to the football, and that pursuit is really containing the Griffins so far.
2nd down, mark it on the 4-yard line. Cody Marshall going to keep it himself, leans forward, maybe picks up 1. He's got 10 touchdowns on the ground, 6'4", 200-pounder, yet that lean forward, tough call right now tonight with that front 4 of the Chargers.
Yeah, the way the Chargers are playing with that physicality, that's a tough play, maybe trying to catch him off guard on that. Let's see if the Griffins come back with their bread and butter right now.
Now, where this may get interesting is this is more or less a PAT. Do you go and get the 3 points figuring it's going to be a close game? Be an interesting call. Third down, Cody Marshall, the pitch to Molina, losing yardage and taken down outside the 10-yard line. Now that may change the whole field goal option.
You would hope that your field goal kicker can put in a 27-yard field goal. If you can't, then you're in a bad spot. But points are going to be at a premium here, and so you've got to take the sure thing, as close to a sure thing as you can come, and that is with the 17, 18-yard field goal.
Brett Mathis, 200-pound sophomore. On extra points, he's been 66%, or I should say 66% is the team average. 2 or 3 guys have kicked. Nice shot off the upright, and boy, does this start to ring like normal Edison-LaSalle matchups where quirky things can happen. That off the near side upright. Unbelievable.
Yeah, very disappointing drive for the Griffins, the way that ended up. You know, I don't know if Coach Barnes has 300 more victories as a head coach than I do. But option on the goal line there against that zone defense is kind of tough.
First quarter stats, 19 yards for Edison first quarter. For Los Alamitos, 45 yards first quarter. Marshall, 6 of 6, 40 yards.
Yeah, and I know that Edison, and you know what, I'm not sure if they were really in a goal line defense or if they were in their base 44. But against that, if they were in their base 44, that's a tough call on that option play.
Empty backfield for Torgerson. That's complete on the far side. Stefanich. He'll be 2 yards shy of the first down.
Like you said, Fritz, you know, we've seen some strange things over the years in these games. And, you know, the last few years, the best offense for Edison has been their defense.
Nice pickup on first down. 2nd down and 2. And they go empty backfield again. Torgerson going to keep it. He'll get enough for the first down. So far on the season, and prior to tonight's game, 25 carries for Torgerson, 33 yards, 2 touchdowns, and with literally a 1-yard average, you just saw him in his glory.
Yeah. You know what? But he moved the chains.
he got the first down. Who cares?
That's all that matters. You know, this is an important drive defensively for the Griffins, because if they can stop them, get the ball back, that takes away any momentum gained by Edison for that stop on the previous drive.
Empty backfield, 5 wideouts. Pass is complete. And there goes a face mask right at the end of the play. Herrera was the receiver in this particular case. And just at the end of the play, actually, Herrera was down. Let's take a look at it. Not even really a need to be involved, just sliding across. That hand caught the face mask.
Yeah, he just got it. But you know, Fritz, on that, and like I said, he didn't even have to be in there. Sometimes those things happen. Like I said, I will take penalties of aggression any day, even if it is a 10 or 15-yarder. Sometimes those things happen. This is an aggressive game, an aggressive sport. It's better than those 5-yard illegal procedure and those delay game penalties. I'll take penalties of aggression any day.
Samuel Quarterly. And that'll move the ball just shy, 2 yards shy of the midfield stripe. 9:13 left here before halftime, and they go spread offense. Torgerson with some pressure. That is complete, and big hit. That's complete to Vargas. And coming in with the big hammer, DeMonte King.
You know, DeMonte King, that was the second big hit on that, because Torgerson took a good shot from 2 of the pass rushers from the Griffins.
Take another look at this.
Yeah, as he gets rid of the ball, he gets slammed, and then boom, it was lowered on him. Yeah, nice hit, nice play by King. 4-yard gain and a big hit.
2nd down 5. So for the Chargers, abandoning the run game to the air. That is complete. First down.
Ball was loose. No, he did not.
Stefanich.
The one thing about, if you notice the delivery of Torgerson, he's got kind of a long delivery. His elbow's kind of wild. But last week when I saw him in the game against San Clemente, he was still completing the passes he needed to. But I can see why his pass percentage is at 45%. But they are giving him those quick hitters right now.
8:55 left before we get to the end of the second quarter. And officials trying to get something straightened out.
Looks like they gave him the first down before they were supposed to, so we may be looking at a measurement. But that looked like it was clearly a first down. Oh, penalty.
So moving back, personal foul against the Chargers.
Face mask on the offense they got him for.
Don't hear that every day.
No.
So Los Alamitos benefiting by a penalty there. Torgerson 5 for 5, 22 yards. So both quarterbacks doing what they need to do. Interesting, though, and Kevin, walk us through this as a coach. First quarter, you line up with single setback, sometimes a triple setback. Now you're going spread, empty backfield. What are they thinking?
Well, what he's trying to do with each series and see how it develops, and then he'll go in at halftime, make his adjustments, and see what he liked best. But right now, he's really trying to see what the Griffins are going to do defensively with the different sets that he's come out with. At some point, both of these coaches on the offensive side, they're going to have to take a shot down the field.
8:42, clicking away. Torgerson going to keep it himself. Gets outside just enough and misses that pressure up the middle. Nice pickup. They got a country mile to go. It was 1st and 18. And they're still going to be 3 yards shy of the original line of scrimmage. So like you said, very conservative play even in the spread offense.
Yeah, and last week they ran a lot of play action, a lot of things to their tight end, as I stated earlier, some crossing routes, and that's to keep the heat off of the quarterback.
Second down 13, Herrera now in the backfield. Rolling out, downfield, has a man. Nice catch by the Chargers. Vargas. Wow, and good coverage by Los Alamitos. That ball right on the money.
A good coverage. Torgerson put that ball in the only place that he could put it, where his receiver would catch the ball or it would be an incompletion. Great catch as a receiver. Vargas laid out for that.
Now, the referee came over, the side judge, and actually talked to Vargas as he was walking back. And we have a flag on the play. That's going to be coming back, likely. Let's wait for the call.
Yeah, that looks like it's a holding penalty going to be called against Edison. And it looked like the official probably was warning Vargas about taunting.
And a few choice words there coming back to the coach. This is a very seasoned referee. You know him, Kevin.
Yeah, Barry Souza. I've known him for a long time. He referees basketball, baseball. Look, on the outside here, got him on the move, put it in a perfect spot for Vargas. Vargas laid out, made a good catch. All for naught. Yeah, like I said, the one thing about the white hat, he's a pretty easygoing official. But you don't want to get on his bad side, as with any official.
Second down and 23. Penalties hurting the Chargers on this drive. Torgerson rolling out. Ball is up in the air. Those are oftentimes picked off, intended for number 12, Barkowski. And a little too tall.
Yeah, Barkowski is the leading receiver for Edison. Saw him on it. He had a couple of nice catches, nice long catch and runs last week against San Clemente.
Nearly 300 yards on the season. First time they've gone to him tonight.
Oh, excuse me. San Clemente was a couple of weeks ago. It was Newport Harbor last week.
Third down and 23 with 7:26 left before the halftime break. Both defenses coming to play tonight. Los Alamitos bounces a field goal off the upright. and we're deadlocked. Torgerson, now we got whistles.
Flag from the back judge, usually a delay game.
So, Kevin, we talk a lot about in the first 2 to 3 weeks the mistakes, getting mentally focused, getting in the right condition, and not making, these types of penalties. A little surprising to see it here in week 7.
Yeah, the one thing, though, you haven't seen too many of those types of penalties on the Griffin side of the football, so that's a good thing for LaSalle fans.
Well, they got them out of their system early.
Yeah.
There were a handful of them. Torgerson, across the middle, nice pass. That is caught. Stefanich, and they just get across the initial line of scrimmage before the penalty wheels fell off, and nice pass, but not nearly enough.
Yeah, it's a great third down play, but when it's third down in the country mile, all you're doing there is padding stats.
So Luke Pastel will come out to receive this punt for Los Alamitos. And Torgerson, the quarterback, going to handle the punting duties. He has a nice foot, and Luke Pastel said, I don't want anything to do with that. Kind of a strange angle. Maybe gave up 3 yards on that. It's going to pin Los Alamitos deep.
Yeah, Pastel called for a fair catch, and once it bounced, he still chased after the ball. He's got to remember that's a football bounce and not a basketball. So once you call a fair catch and it bounces, you get away from it.
So now for a very aggressive Charger defense, Kevin, they can get a little bit aggressive with the ball marked on the 5-yard line of Los Alamitos.
I'm from the school, especially based on what you're doing. I take a shot on first down. I take a shot. I run play action pass, and I throw it down the field because nobody in the stadium expects them to do that.
Wasn't it Florida State that used to do a lot of that? I think you told me.
That's Bobby Bowden. That's Bobby Bowden. And that was one of the things, you go to a couple of the coaching clinics and you talk to the guys and you watch the guys. And even from when I coached, if we were pinned back and we didn't throw the ball an awful lot, it especially worked for us because nobody would expect you to throw the football. And as long as but the one thing you have to communicate to your quarterback is, number one, don't take a sack. You can't get a grounding penalty. And it has to be something quick because you don't want any holding penalties in the end zone.
Well, now you wonder what they're drawing up. With 6:31 left, this is the second trip of Cody Marshall over to Coach Barnes. And they're going to go ahead and take a timeout. So maybe they're drawing something up.
Yeah, you know what? It could be that the coaches heard me, and they said, you know what? Maybe that Kevin guy knows what he's talking about. Let's do something like that. I doubt that that's the case, though. Because the opposite view of that, then you're going totally against what I had said earlier. And one thing you don't want to do is give the team momentum. You don't want to give them momentum by making the bad mistake.
Now, as we said earlier, 2 very well-coached teams.
Two of the better coached teams in not only in the county, but in Southern California and the state of California, and 2 coaches who know each other really, really well.
So all knotted up here with 6:31 to go. And Los Alamitos taking their time to think about what this play or this series is going to be about. They've got 95 yards to go.
Well, let's see a 95, either a one-play 95-yard drive, or let's see a 6-minute, 31-second 95-yard drive.
Cody Marshall tapping the left hit, and there we might have had the Chargers jump. It looked like possibly Ashoff may have jumped off. That's going to be an extra 5. Now, Cody Marshall was tapping the left hip of his center, Garrett King. Not sure if he's signaling something he sees. Molina with the carry. Not much all night long. Pickup of less than 1.
Yeah. Now on here, second down, you're in such better position when you don't have a loss on that first down, even though you're backed up against your old goal line.
The last series that ended with a missed field goal was a lot of that rollout quarterback hitting the receiver in the flat. Let's see what they call. Cody Marshall up under center. Give it to Molina. Finds a little opening, but not much.
Yeah, second spurt puts him in a good position, though. Third down, less than 1.
Clock continues to run. That quick strike from both these teams, not part of their game plan this year. More methodical. So 3rd down and 1. Cody Marshall going to come left side. Should have enough for the first down.
Gives the Griffins breathing room coming out and get a new set of downs. And so they can really get into, you're still a little bit backed up, but you're not backed up into your end zone. And so you can get back to your normal game plan and run the plays that you intended to run when you come in the game.
You would think Los Alamitos wants to play conservative enough that if you do walk in with no score either team, that would be considered a victory, especially against a very tough Charger team this year. However, you got a feeling they got to take a shot downfield before the clock ticks down. And mark that at 0 gain or maybe a loss.
Right, and even if you don't take a shot downfield, you've got to methodically move the ball downfield, and you are happy with your defense. But you know what? For lack of a better term, the weak spot for the Griffins has not been their defense. It hasn't been their defense at all. And so, and it's not like Edison has an explosive offense. So it does surprise me that the Griffins have been stingy on defense against this Edison team.
2nd down 10. Give it to Molina. Trying to find something. Not a lot there.
Well, what is kind of surprising is the same thing, that the Griffins aren't taking any shots. They're not throwing the ball more than 5 or 10 yards down the field. And at some point, like we say it over and over again and over and over again, if you're not going to run that play action off of that, you've got to do something to loosen up that front 8 of Edison. Now it looks like they're going to go into, because it is 3rd down and 10, they're going to go into a 2 deep with 2 safeties, go into a 43. But their defense is really to run against when they're running 4 linebackers.
And we have flag hits the ground.
Delay game penalty by the Griffin.
So those are the things you don't expect. Of course, a lot of gamesmanship going on here. They're the coaching staff of Los Alamitos up here in the booth.
You know, there's no excuse, though, for a delay of game penalty when you're going in a no-huddle offense. If you're going, and you know, as a coach, you want to take the blame for that, because you've got to get that play in much faster, or your quarterback has to decipher it much faster.
3rd down, 15. Quick go, Cody Marshall, broken play, and throws that one out of bounds, wisely so. So with 3:32 left, a drive that was plagued by penalties and short running play gains, and the field position game continues. Now, a lot of pressure on Blake Johnson. Again, the sophomore, he's been studly all season long, kicked a great punt in the first quarter out of his end zone. He's even deeper this time.
Edison's going to come out, like I said, unless there's something strange that happens, they're going to come out with great field position, and they're going to come out with all 3 of their timeouts left.
Dylan Luther stands at his own 50-yard line. Nice punt. Takes a low-sal bounce and gets out to the 50-yard line. So nice punt by Blake Johnson. Both teams 0 for 8 on 3rd down. Thank you to our statistician, Frank Foster.
And, you know, I can tell you, they're 0 for 8, and there have been a couple of times where they've been in 3rd and long, but even when they've been in 3rd and short, they're not doing anything out of the ordinary. They're running straight, power plays off tackle, trying to do things very, very conservatively, because it looks like both teams are just still filling each other out because they don't want to make a mistake.
Absolutely. It's like there's so much respect, no one's going to take a chance. Well, fresh set of downs for the Chargers. Mark it right on the 50-yard line. Torgerson hands to Ross. And Ross with a nice pickup, 1st down, mark it at 5.
Well, like I said, at some point, here we are now, 3 minutes left. Edison's got a full load of 3 timeouts. Not sure, quite honestly, how their kicking game is. They haven't had to rely on it at all this year.
2nd down and 4, so mark that first down pickup at 6. I formation, Ross stays in. And nice pickup, first down. And that's going to really change the tide with those fresh legs transferring in and out. Ross had not seen much action since the first quarter. And even with 2:42 left, a few more pickups like that, and they'll be threatening.
Yeah, now's a good time for play-action pass. You're in a good field position. You've been running the ball. You've gone back to your I-back set. Good time for play-action pass. Griffins have to be heads up here.
Going out of the eye, Ross is your tailback. They give it to him. Gets outside. Nice defensive play by Los Alamitos.
Yeah, Griffins are playing tough. They're playing the run really tough. And, both teams are. Both teams are. And at this point, Edison had a series where they bang, hit him for 8 or 9 yards, and then got stopped on that 3rd down, stopped on that 4th down. And now they're setting them up. They're going to throw the ball downfield off of a play-action pass in one of these.
Trevor Brand with the tackle on that last play. Handoff. That to Rice. So, again, that 3-back committee of Herrera, Ross, and Rice keeping fresh legs in the game. However, Los Alamitos very stingy. So now the running game not going to potentially help them with 1:26 left. They're going to have to take a shot down if they're not careful. Of course, they still got their timeouts.
Right.
Yet clock ticking away.
Well, they can still run the ball down, but even with the timeouts, they're not going to be able to score a touchdown if they're getting 3 and 4 yards a pop. But the Griffins just have to be aware.
Give it to Rice. Rice with a decent pickup. That'll be enough for a first down.
And boy, Coach White is seeing something that he absolutely likes, because even on the stops, even when they're running and getting 2 yards and 3 yards, he's sticking with his game plan, and he's just pounding the football.
Donald Rice actually averaging more yards per carry than any of the other running backs, and that's in a very limited scenario here, because it's just been in the last couple of minutes that we've seen an average of maybe 5 to 6 yards per carry. With 58 seconds, though, the Chargers going to take a timeout and talk about it. In a very precarious spot with the ball on the 27, they've got to be diligent about their next few play calls.
Like we said, 2 timeouts, plenty of time, just under a minute left. But they've established something here going back to that first series. They've gone back to, when I say the first series that they had the ball, and also the first series of plays that they ran when they came out and were running out of the I-back set. They're running out of the I-backs and they're running double tights. So they're basically lining up, telling the Griffins, okay, we're just going to pound the football and you do what you can to stop us. We're not going to try to do anything tricky. There's only so much you can do off of that. You can waggle out on the outside. You can run basic bootleg, that sort of thing, with the play action. Now they've come out and they've changed it up and gone to a 5-receiver set.
So Torgerson going to roll out near side, trying to find a man. Great pursuit. That thrown away, and good job by the Griffins. Michael Hayden on that one, the 220-pound junior, all over Torgerson.
Lots of pressure coming out. And sometimes you wonder what coaches are seeing and what they're doing. If you're at home and you're sitting here and watching, you say, okay, they pounded the ball downfield 25 yards, okay? Then they come out and they go into a spread set and try and do something that they haven't done all game.
Well, and something that Los Alamitos certainly lines up against when they're running first team versus first team. That spread offense has been around here at Los Al for 20 years. Toss it up, in and out of the hands. That intended for Burkowski, and could have been a nice play trying to lob it in is Torgerson. Nice coverage there by Los Alamitos.
Yeah, good play on the defensive side, and actually by Torgerson, that was a good pass.
And, Kevin, now let's talk about this. With 48 seconds left, as you say, picking up 5 and 6 yards, pounding it right down the middle, especially with Donald Rice, not huge break-off plays, but, heck, you probably would have been inside the 10 at least now, 2 pass plays for not.
Yes.
And now a mishandled snap. Throw it across the middle, and that is picked off. On the far side, Luke Pastel, and a busted play. Los Alamitos makes the most of it, and the Griffins fired up. The only challenge is with 39 seconds left and not a downfield threat that we've seen so far. What do we do? Let's take a look at it.
Second time, bad snap, and then just a bad read. You've got one guy over the middle, but, here's the thing, Fritz. Like I said, you run the ball 25 yards down the field. Then you get to the position where all of a sudden you want to start doing something that you haven't done all game. So if you are going to throw the football, why not throw the football off of your successful run plays instead of asking your quarterback to do something that he's obviously at this particular point not comfortable doing, and where the Griffins defense is toughing it up.
Salutu, the center for the Chargers, snapped it a bit high. Griffins, Brownlow, not much there, and that'll be 34 seconds left. So at some point, Kevin, do you sit back and say, you know what, we're going to take a shot on the turnover and try to get something on the board for the break? Or do you just stay conservative and say, you know what, we'll go in with no score?
Well, I can tell you this. In that situation, I don't know, based on the play call, if Coach Barnes wants him to run out of bounds. Because now if they throw the football and get an incompletion, or if they run and don't get anything, I'm Edison calling a timeout.
2nd down and 9.
If I'm Coach White, I'm calling a timeout. Yeah, I guarantee you on the play beforehand, he didn't want his players to run out of bounds. Right now, all he wants to do is get in. Because he doesn't have any timeouts, so he doesn't want to take a chance at throwing the ball down the field. And based on how conservative they've played in the first half, that would seem odd for them to come out firing away with 30 seconds left. So all they want to do is run it out.
Now, of course, if you did take a shot downfield, 3rd and 7, you do have Blake Johnson, who's been able to really pound the ball in the air as your punter.
Well, if you do take a shot down the air and it's incomplete, then Edison does not have to use their timeout. You punt it, they get the ball back with about 20 seconds and a timeout. So if they take a shot now, it would be in complete, just opposition to how they've played the first half. And I would be surprised. But, it won't be the first time I'd be surprised.
Well, you wonder which coach is going to gamble. 3rd down and 7, 29 ticks on the clock. Cody Marshall. Give it to Gordon. Coming near side. Great pursuit. Great move. Ball is loose and out of bounds. Wow, that could have been interesting.
Call me crazy, but if you're going to try to run out the clock, just run out the clock. Hold the football, and just run out the clock.
So 3rd down and 7, 20 ticks on the clock left. Blake Johnson, the sophomore, coming out.
So like you said earlier, they may as well have taken a shot down the field because they fumble it out of bounds, stop the clock. Edison still has a timeout.
Dylan Luther back for the Chargers, stands on his 30-yard line.
And you're just hoping for another big punt from Johnson.
And close to a block. Johnson with a booming punt. Fair catch on the 25. So now 12 seconds on the clock. And now really on the other side of the ball, Chargers with the same dilemma. Do you just run it out or do you take a shot? What would you do?
I'd take a knee. I'd take a knee because you're at the 25-yard line. You haven't been able to throw the ball down the field all night. It would be different if you were on the 50 or on the plus side of the field. You may want to take a shot. You just don't want to give up a big play. to the defense.
Got a Charger player down on the near side. Kind of an interesting snap again. Torgerson heading on the far side, taking a couple of shots there. Don't always like to see that with your quarterback, and the clock will run out. So both teams with opportunities to score. Los Alamitos bounces a field goal attempt off the upright. On the other side of the ball, a high snap almost gets over the head of Torgerson. Torgerson handles the ball, rushes the throw, pick, and eliminates their opportunity to score. And these two powerhouses heading into the locker room all tied up at 0.
Well, so far it's just a heavyweight fight, but it's a heavyweight fight with both teams really still for a whole half of football, in my opinion, just feeling each other out. Nobody wants to make, and that goes without saying, of course no one wants to make the mistake, but you know, where there's no risk, there's no reward.
So you're in the locker room. What do you draw up for Los Alamitos? What do you draw up for the Chargers? What would you adjust?
Well, if I'm the Griffins, I go back to a few series early where they got Marshall on the move. And because they're not going to be able to run the football. If they do run the football or they do get a play, if you say, okay, we're going to hold them on defense and let's just wait until we bust a play. Okay, that's one way to look at it. But if I'm the Griffins, I go back to the short passing game, hitting my receivers on the outside, getting Marshall, because he's really accurate tonight, getting him on the move, letting him get his confidence, and throwing the football. Running the football, I just don't think they're going to be able to put anything on the board by just pounding the football. If I go back on the Edison side, offensively, it's the same thing. With them, they've had a little bit more success with being able to pound the football with that big offensive line, but I still would like to see a little bit more of what I saw on tape, and I saw some crossing patterns, a lot of play-action pass, waggle or bootleg type plays.
Well, there you have it. We're going to step aside for a quick break. Don't go away. Exciting second-half action coming up. All tied up, no score. Los Alamitos Edison. We'll be right back.
Quit playing around and clean out the garage.
Quit playing around, huh? I'll show her. Let's go, Joe.
Clean out your garage and sell Play It Again Sports, your gently used sports and fitness gear.
Welcome back to the Vet. Fritz Pollard, Kevin Robinson, Keith Jones downstairs. Week 2 of the Sunset League season. The Edison Chargers and Los Alamitos Griffins, no score at halftime. Let's look at some of these stats. We'll start with Edison. Torgerson, 6 of 9 for 40 yards, 1 interception and a sack. Rushing, Torgerson, 3 carries for 1 yard. Receivers, Stefanich, 2 catches, 25 yards. Favreau, a catch for 8 yards. Rushing, Ross, 7 carries, 29 yards. Rice, 4 carries for 10 yards. Total offense for the Chargers, 88 yards. For Los Alamitos, Marshall, 7 of 8, 47 yards. Rushing, 5 carries for -11, 2 sacks, if that doesn't tell the tale. Brownlow, 18 yards. Davis, 14 yards. Rushing, Molina, 10 carries, 7 yards. Gordon, 4 carries, 11 yards. Total offense for Los Alamitos, 57 yards. And now you understand why there is no score.
Yeah, you know, with both teams, though, with the way both teams' defenses are playing, you've got to open it up a little bit because you've got to loosen up that defense.
Swagian and Herrera back for the Chargers, finding a little bit of running room. Great return. And correction, that is Goudeau, number 13, the 5'6", 140-pound junior, with a nice return there. Good field position as the ball's marked on the 40-yard line.
Well, let's see in this chess match. Who opens up first? Who opens up first? Who comes out and tries to steal the momentum from the opposing team?
Well, halftime adjustments for two veteran coaches likely going to be huge. Who is going to take the risk? Kevin and I were talking a lot about it off camera. One of these two coaches is going to have to open things up. Keep it on the ground. That is Ross. And Ross with a nice pickup there on first down.
Yeah, Edison comes back out in the double tight eye backs and just pounding the football. Good gain, 8-yard gain by Ross.
That'll mark it at 2nd down and 2 for the Chargers. And the 48-yard line. Ross, your tailback. Give it to Ross. Finding a little room right up the middle. And that'll be enough for the first down and mark it out at the 45-yard line of Los Alamitos.
Yes, good gain. When you know what the Griffins have got to do now is they've got to, first of all, they've got to get a field position change, get a stop here on first down, and get a field position change when they get the ball back on offense. You don't want to get in a position where you're just going to get worn down by the 300-pound offensive lineman.
Ross, that running back by committee, hard-fought yards there, maybe mark it at 2. So really all night it's been a combination of Herrera, Ross, and Rice. And really Rice, in the first half, had the greatest yards per carry, especially on that last drive that ended in a turnover. And yet it's been a ground and pound type of operation tonight, really, yeah, from both teams.
From both teams. You know, they've got 4 backs with over 25 carries, including the quarterback, for the season.
And now maybe you see why they don't go to the air more often. That a forward pass in the dirt.
Yeah, that looked like it was tipped by one of the Los Alamitos defensive linemen who got his hands up.
Barkowski was the intended receiver there. So early in the third quarter, Pestel there also will drop back to receive the punt. 3rd down and 8. And a quick little energetic spurt by the Chargers. Now slowing. They need this first down to keep this drive going. High snap again, or at least mishandled by Torgerson. And in and out of the hands. Nice coverage there by Los Alamitos.
Yeah, that's a good play.
Stefanich was the intended receiver.
Yeah, it looked like that was a good play by number 2. King came up, played the ball well. A little bit of contact, but, that's allowed. But, it's amazing how Torgerson has mishandled those snaps. And because those snaps have hit him right in the hands. And it's been one replay right after another.
Well, and Chargers going to go for their second 4th down of the night. First one was 1 yard to go, couldn't get it. That tipped also at the line. And good coverage there again by King.
We did say which coach is going to try and steal the momentum. But when you try to steal the momentum, you don't want to give the other team the momentum. And I just am at a loss as to why you just don't pin the Griffins back with a punt instead of giving them the ball on the 43-yard line. But that's, hey, what's bad for the Chargers is really good for the Griffins.
Let's see what they can do with it. First possession after the halftime break. Molina is your tailback. Brownlow, quick throw. Gordon gets a block.
Good play.
And just not the breakaway that you saw in the pre-league where that'd be a 15-yard pickup.
Right.
Very, very conservative there. Good pursuit by the Chargers. However, nice pickup on first down by Cody Marshall. And they will be looking at 2nd down and about 1.5. So Brownlow's your man in motion. Give it to Molina. And that has been a tough way to go all night for Molina.
What the Griffins are finding out, like you said, that short pass it would turn into a 30-yard gain or a 40-yard gain against Linwood or University or Damien it's not going to work like that against the number 15 team in the state of California. And the running game, and you're just not going to get the same thing against those big ones on that Edison front 4.
3rd down and 1. Give it to Molina. Moving backwards. Great pursuit by the Chargers. Keep in mind, at the halftime break, Molina was 10 carries for 7 yards. On the season, prior to tonight's game, Molina was averaging 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, and you know what? Since the start of the half, he's probably lost 3 or 4 yards on a couple of on 2 carries. So looks like a little bit of the same thing in the first half. So the Griffins were unable to capitalize on really a gift, 2 gifts in my opinion, by the Chargers.
Blake Johnson comes in. Luther going to be back for the Chargers. And takes, about a neutral bounce, mark it at the 19-yard line. And for the second possession of the third quarter, the Chargers march onto the field. So nobody taking a risk, still very conservative. And I'm going to roll back the clock. First half, about 18-yard field goal attempt off the upright. Those 3 points would be huge right now.
Like we said at the time, points are going to be at a premium in the game, and just the misfortune of hitting the goalpost.
Ball on the ground, so this one mark it on the center. Torgerson picks it up, flag on the play, and mark it at a 1-yard loss. Boy, the snap, a challenge all night long. David Salutu, 260-pound junior, and his quarterback, Alex Torgerson, not on the same page.
Yeah, that one looked like, out of all the bad snaps, that was the first one that I would have put on the center. The other ones have hit the quarterback, hit Torgerson right in the hands, and he's mishandled it. Now you're back to 15, it'll be first down, and it looks like about 22, 23 yards. They've got to get to the 29-yard line to get the first down, and you're pinned up against the goal line.
8:15 left here in the third quarter, and Kevin, we were talking during the halftime break about which coach was going to make the most aggressive move. The way it's going now, maybe it's which team doesn't make the mistake.
Right.
Penalties have pushed the Chargers back. A high snap, back in this zone, that's a safety. These points are going to be very valuable. And maybe it's the team that makes the first stumble that causes the loss.
Well, here's the thing. I guess who makes the first stumble on their end of the field, because the Griffins had 2 opportunities on failed fourth down attempts by the Chargers. What they've got to do is who's going to capitalize on those miscues.
Second down, 15. The give is to Rice. And Rice, again, has the best average per carry on the night, and yet he's one of 3 guys cycled in, and probably on the night the one that's touched the ball the least.
Yes.
Boy, it's easy to stand up here and second guess people.
You know what? But hey, this is a safe haven for us.
Right. We're in the cone of safeness. And I'll tell you something. Rice, before the halftime break, with about 2 minutes 39 seconds, was the one that was really chewing up the yardage. Then they went to the pass, and we know how that ended. Torgerson batted down at the line. Great defensive stand by the Griffins.
The Griffins' defense has just been stellar all night. They've been stellar all night. Now what you've got to do, you're going to have a decent field position if you field this punt and don't let it bounce. You're going to have decent field position. Open it up.
Torgerson will stand on his 10-yard line. Luke Pastel, the 185-pound junior, at the 47 of Los Alamitos, and that'll be timeout. Chargers.
Well, Coach White has got to be unhappy about that. You don't want to waste your timeout on a punt. It's obviously fourth down and 7 or 8 yards. It's not a situation where there's anything to talk about. That's a situation where there's a personnel issue and somebody didn't go out on the field when they were supposed to.
And we have fireworks across the way. I can only assume that it is homecoming at another field, because that's too close for Disneyland.
Yes, it's not Disneyland, and it's not Knott's Berry Farm.
And it's not the 4th of July.
No, and it's not the 4th of July.
So we get you this little treat during a timeout, and then back to the Los Al cheerleaders. So Los Alamitos ought to get pretty good field position. 6:57 here in the third quarter. Now remember, Torgerson is also your quarterback. See how that plays out. Not a bad punt. Pastel muffs it. Taken by Los Alamitos. Wisely, King comes in to save the day, and boy, that didn't look good the minute Pastel took a step up. There was a white shirt coming right down the middle, and that almost became tragic.
Yeah, he looked uncomfortable, and quite frankly, on a lot of those, for whatever reason, he's looked uncomfortable, and that's why I said if you've got to field the football, and it's a matter of getting to the spot, but he made the mistake of looking at where his pursuit was coming from, and he's got to focus more, especially on a fair catch, of keeping your eyes on the ball.
Well, and you saw in fact, that was a great close-up there by the cameraman. You saw his head dip down, saw that pursuing white shirt, and you could clearly see that got in his head.
Yeah.
Marshall rolling out. He's got to have to find somebody and rolls out of bounds.
Now, that's a situation where that play worked against the Chargers 3 or 4 times early, because as I had stated earlier in the first half, that their linebackers were not getting proper drops. They weren't getting any width on the rollout. Just like the stop patterns, they weren't getting any width and any depth on there. You got to throw the ball away. You can't run out of bounds and take a 5-yard loss. So that's one miscue by Marshall. He's played a good game, though.
Ball on the 21. Coverage. Now he throws it away. That a dangerous pass.
But you can't catch it, young man. Let it hit the ground.
Well, how do you tell a kid all year long, let one right in your hands go? Gordon, the receiver on that. Tonight's game on both sides of the ball not going to help anyone's stats.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination. And if it keeps going like this, it's not going to help the stats for the coaches either, because it's going to end in a 0-0 tie.
Well, and we'll get into the whole playoff option. A little too early to be talking about that. Or I should say how do you go to a tie break? We'll worry about that later. And great pursuit. Third sack of the night. Mark it at 23. The Chargers have a history of it. And Los Alamitos, where they could have had good field position, moving backwards on a muff punt. And there you see the coaches for Los Alamitos just taking their headsets off in disgust.
Yeah. Well, now they've switched it back. They had an opportunity earlier when the Chargers went for it, didn't get anything. The Chargers were given a much, much better field position. Now they've given field position back to Edison.
Well, Blake Johnson, for the third time tonight, punting out of his end zone, thankfully gets a Los Alamitos bounce. Take your hat off to Blake Johnson, the sophomore. He has really been put in a tough spot tonight. Kicks that one out nearly 50-yard line. And that could have even been more tragic.
Now
they're marking it at the 47, about 47-yard line.
Yeah, now you've got to play heads up, because although I've predicted it, and it hasn't happened, they're just in such good position for a play-action pass. And they're coming out in the I-backs with the double tights.
Ross, the running back, fake it. There's that play-action pick. Yeah. And this could be 6. A lot of white shirts pursuing some of the biggest guys I've ever seen running quickly. Yeah. And great pick. The tackle there is on number 64, Fuga, at 278 pounds. Did you see him close?
He was moving, and if you're running the ball, you want to say, maybe I should step out of bounds on that. On that replay there, you just see, here they go with a delay to the tight end, with play action, a delay to the tight end, but Torgerson just throws a bullet to his back shoulder, and he can't make the play. That's a play where it's easy pitch and catch. You can't put your receiver in that position.
And look at Fuga go. Oh, my goodness.
Now, like we said, who's going to be the team to capitalize on the mistake?
5:02, Los Alamitos. Cody Marshall rolling out and wisely throws that one away. I'm sure there was a bit of a speech after the last series about getting rid of the ball. And I'll tell you, good defensive coverage downfield. Those receivers not open, and that underneath certainly not there like it was in the first half.
What the Griffins have done, though, they've gone back when they're getting him on the run. They're trying to run that same play. Now they've come back to it 2 times in a row. Haven't had anywhere to go with it 3 times, actually, and they haven't had anywhere to go. They've got to mix it up in the passing game a little bit.
Cody Marshall throwing it downfield first time tonight, and that is caught. Gordon, nice pass. Cody Marshall to Deshaun Gordon.
And they mix it up in the passing game off of a little fake inside, frees the linebackers, and hits the seam pattern against that defense.
And the first time tonight we've really seen Cody Marshall drop back and buzz it down the field.
Yeah.
Great pass, threw it right on the money. Good coverage actually by the Chargers. Well thrown ball. First score of the night in a game that was very, very touchy. It all comes off the turnover.
Well, we had that, like we said, who's going to be the first one to make the mistake? Well, someone made a mistake, but more importantly, who's going to be the first team to capitalize off of one of those bad mistakes?
Now the JV kicker is in. Frembling, number 35, puts the ball up, and that is good. We saw Frembling a few times last week after a few missed extra points. So the Griffins all fired up. They've got the momentum back.
Well, like I said, just the play fake, inside play fake, freezes the backers where your inside backers, number one, your backers don't get a hand on the receivers. They're able to just run down the seams, able to just run straight down the seams without anybody getting a hand on them. Perfect pass by Marshall.
Into double coverage, Luther, number 5, back there. And I'll tell you, this is where we've seen Cody Marshall really maturing each week. That pass was not happening in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the year, and then you started to see 1 a game, maybe 2 a game. Then he started getting into the rhythm. He can hit those guys. Finds the first score in week 2 of Sunset League play. Los Alamitos 7, Edison Chargers nothing. Now it's going to be interesting.
Well, now if you're Edison, now you're forced to start doing things with a little bit more imagination on offense.
Well, and second turnover of the night on a turnover that was an interception. And now you've got Torgerson wondering, if he's got to push it downfield, second pick of the night, and then one of them turns into a score. So the gamesmanship continues. 2 great teams, 2 great coaches. Los Alamitos draws first blood. That'll be taken on the far side by Herrera. And Herrera finding some running room. 1 man to beat. And the kicker, Frembling on the far side. And, boy, you give it right back with field position.
Right, and now you're back in the same position, and you're back on your heels like you've been the whole game. Now you want your defense, every time you want your defense to make a stand, but now is a critical time where you tell them to keep playing exactly like they've been playing and just do their job. I don't see, there's no reason for them to panic. Number 1, they're ahead. Number 2, this is how they've been. This is the field position they've had the whole game.
Hey, this is like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of Groundhog Day, this could end like most Los Alamitos Edison games with something strange going on.
Boy, there was one game, gosh, it's probably been 6 years ago, in the rain, that there was like 4 turnover fumbles, consecutive plays back to back.
Right.
They could not hang on to the ball, and it was the craziest thing. 4:42 left in this one, however. Torgerson keeps it himself. Great play into the open. Nice pickup by the quarterback.
Remember, last year their biggest plays on offense were by their quarterback running, other than their defensive plays.
And if you recall last year, there was that interesting play to end the games where they gave it to Cody Paul on about the 5-yard line, and the clock ran out.
Yeah, so you never know how these games are going to go.
Torgerson, nice pickup. Fresh set of downs now for the Chargers. That'll help Torgerson's average of 1 yard per carry. Waiting for the chain gang to get readjusted.
Now here we are. Like I said, no reason for panic because they've been, kind of pander around their heels for most of the game.
Ball on the 24-yard line, 4:24 left in the third quarter. Torgerson going to keep it. Another nice pickup, takes a big hit. And boy, you hate to see your quarterback getting out there. However, this game, like you said, they need to get more creative, and maybe they're going to do it behind their senior QB. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, you take enough shots on the thigh pad, though, as a quarterback, and you'll learn to slide.
We'll get you that replay if we can. Back to live action. Torgerson up the middle, gives it to Rice, and Rice will be out around the 10-yard line. So a lot of change up in the looks.
Yeah. That kick return was a big kick return for the Chargers because it looks like it gave them a little bit more pep in their step. Even if you look at how they're moving on offense, and they've got a little bit more zip.
Now remember, Rice is the guy that's been getting the greater yards per carry. Keeps it in the middle. A sea of red shirts. .322 left here in the third. So that'll bring up a third down and 3.
This is really well, I can tell you this: if you like defense, which we all do, we like good hard hitting defense. You got to love this game.
Rice with the call, steps outside, leans forward. Great job by the Griffins. They're bending but not giving up the TD, and this one's going to be right down near the line. They're going to move it out a little bit. Let's mark it at 2 to go.
Yep, 4 downs to get 2. 4 downs to get 2. Let's see if the Griffins can come up with a big play. Boy, it's amazing how you have no movement on offense at all. You have a couple of mistakes. Next thing you know, you go from 0 points to possibly 14 here.
Give it to Rice. Rice over the middle. Should be touchdown. It is.
Yeah. We go from not being able to score at all, and, maybe they were waiting. They were just waiting to see who was going to score first to try to match it.
Well, and Kevin, let's go back to the kick return. Special teams got a good return, kept the momentum on the side of the Chargers, and looks like we got a man down on the goal line. Looks like one of the big linemen. That may be Fuga. And that would be a big loss, 6'1", 178-pounder.
Fuga's on the line. I think that was 34.
Try to get you an accurate number here. That would be Perez if it's 34. Yep, Perez coming off.
Now remember, high school football, there are no guarantees on that PAT.
No way. Kelly for the Chargers, out of the hold of Herrera. Snap back, ball down, kick is up. And that is good. So just when one pulls away, tied up again. 7-all. We told you these games are always interesting.
They're always tough. And, there have been a number of years that these two teams have played, and I thought that coming in, Edison had the better football team. But the Griffins have always found a way to, A, make it competitive, and B, pull-out wins in the last minute. Last couple of years, like I said, Edison has scored some points on some touchdowns that are just amazing to me the last couple of years.
Let's go downstairs to Keith Jones.
We're here with some lights out freshmen. What do you got game so far? Now among us we have one of our freshman standout athletes here, Mr. Scott Anderson. Scott, what's your take on the game?
Game.
Pretty good game. Short on words, high on talent. Hey Scott, how many picks have you gotten so far this season?
6.
6 picks. 6 picks, 6 games. This kid's the real deal. Back to you.
Well, we'll probably be calling his name before long. Gordon with the kick return there and gets it out to about the 21-yard line.
Now you got to move the ball. You got to keep your defense off the field and see if they can put together a methodical drive down the field.
Well, and Cody Marshall coming off his best throw of the night, which turned into a touchdown, threw it right down the middle. So both these teams have tasted the end zone. Now let's see what they do with it. Los Alamitos with their first possession after the score. Molina, Marshall. Again, those receivers are covered, and great pursuit. You don't get a second chance, and good job to the Charger DBs with good coverage on those Los Al receivers.
Yeah, they're really clamping down on the outside pass. They went in, made a few adjustments after the first couple of series, and they're getting much better drops. Nothing to the outside, or at least in the last couple of series for the Griffins, they've run that little fake, and when they have run that fake, they haven't had anything on the outside.
Gordon, your man in motion. Marshall. Again, coverage downfield, nowhere to go.
Yeah, not in a good spot for Marshall. They're running the sprint out to the left side, but you've got one guy running a post pattern, which he's running a pattern away from the rollout, and then you've got another guy running an out with double coverage, really nowhere for Marshall to go.
So clock continues to run, 2:06. And Los Al staring down a 3rd and 8. Mark the ball on the 23-yard line.
Yeah, not moving with much zest. Yeah, the timeout. Griffins looked, they were a little confused offensively. It took a long time to get that play in. They would have had a delay of game penalty.
So back to the conservative play calling. 1:50 left here in the 3rd. It's been tied for all of about, 2.5 minutes of this game?
Well,
if that.
Let's talk about what we've got here in the Southwest Division, let alone what's going on in the conference. This division is wide open. There's going to be a lot of competitive play over the next few weeks. You've got some good teams in the top 10 for the Southwest. From these two teams here, Tustin, Yorba Linda, Villa Park, Foothill, and then the multiple defending champion for the Southwest Division. Let's not forget about La Habra. La Habra has not been playing as well as they have been in the past. They've lost a couple of guys to Division I football, but they do a good job. This is going to be a really competitive division down the stretch.
3rd down and 8 for the Griffins. Cody Marshall throws it up. Look out. This is going to be trouble. An incomplete pass, and there were only about 3 different white shirts that could have caught that, and we've got a flag on the play. The coverage downfield is so tight. Cody Marshall nowhere to go. He hasn't made a bad decision yet. That was almost his first one.
Right. And because they're running that play fake and the little half roll, but they don't have enough. Their guys aren't getting to the open areas of the field. And so Marshall is having a little, he's got patience, trying to make it work to get outside, but they're not getting to the open parts of the field there on their half rollouts.
Offsetting penalties. So the penalties starting to pile up.
Well, I can tell you this: if you're not going to have a play where the receivers are going to run more than 5 to 10 yards down the field, I'd have a quick kick in my repertoire. So let's look for some seam patterns on that wide receiver side. Come back with a screen. Good.
And that'll be very close to a first down.
Yeah, the quick hitter on the hitch outside.
Key block downfield made that close. It looks like it's going to be shy by about a yard. Clock continues to run down. 1:17. And are the Griffins going to go for it? They're showing as though they are. And now comes the punt team.
There would have been basically no way at the 29, 30-yard line that Coach Barnes would go for it. Not based on the way they've been play calling tonight. They're trying to play it close to the vest.
And flag on play, or at least I should say blown dead. And we've got some clapping going on from the Chargers.
And
delay of game.
Delay of game, and you know that's not on the punter, or that's not on any of your signal callers, personal protector. That's really on the coaching staff because of the gamesmanship as to try to make you think whether they're going to go for it or not.
Blake Johnson, he's been solid all season long, including tonight. What a gift. He's kicking it from his own 10. He's been 3 times in his own end zone. Fair catch, moving him back to the 32-yard line. Dylan Luther. Man, this Blake Johnson's good.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of opportunities. He's going to be tired. His leg is going to be tired tomorrow, but that's not a good thing for the Griffins to have to punt that much. But the fact that you have a weapon like that, because it could have been a heck of a lot worse with the field position that they've had.
So 39 ticks on the clock left here in the third quarter. First and 10, Torgerson on the ground, spinning out of tackles, Ross. And another nice 6-yard pickup on first down.
They've come out with some, those running backs have come out on first down plays, picked up good yardage, had some good gains on first down. Edison just really has not been able to take advantage of having that second and short because they haven't taken any opportunities down the field. Another good play action pass down.
That was an 8-yard pickup, my correction. Ross, again with the carry, will be very close to the first down marker. And they're marking it at a first down. And into the quarter. So all tied up. What else is new? And this will be a whiz-bang fourth quarter. Both teams bringing their defensive game.
Yeah, let's see if it's a sprint. We had one break this half. Los Alamitos was able to take advantage of that break. Now let's see who is really going to break out of that conservative mode. It's really surprising to me, quite honestly, how conservative both teams have been the whole night.
So 12 minutes left in week 2 of the Sunset League. As we said, the way that other teams have been playing, we checked a halftime score, and Huntington Beach and Marina were taking it to each other. And when you look last week at Los Alamitos blowing Marina out, you could draw the conclusion, and maybe inappropriately so, 46-0 last week, the score, Los Alamitos on top of Marina. So you would say that Huntington Beach isn't what they have been. There we go. Ross up the middle. You've got Newport Harbor, which seems to always find a way to give Los Al challenges, although they're struggling this year. So this could be it. And Fountain Valley, never want to count them out.
Well, you don't want to count Fountain Valley out for two reasons. Number one, both teams have to play Fountain Valley. And number two, that's Edison's, that's their big rival. You know, remember, that's the game where they could play that at Anaheim Stadium at times.
Up the middle, Ross will be shy of the first down. Shy by 2. So that'll bring up a 3rd down.
Now let's see. Now this, when you're on the plus side of the 50-yard line for Edison, Coach White has shown that he doesn't mind going for it on 4th down. Is this 2-down territory?
Ross has enough for the first down and then a few extra. And won't have to confront whether he's going to go for it on 4th down. Move the chains.
Now it's just a matter, and you see those big linemen for Edison. Now it's a time where you don't want your defense, if you're the Griffins, to get worn down by those big fellas on the Edison Chargers line.
Ball sits on the 43. In is the new back, Rice. And again, Los Alamitos, they'll give up a few, but not a lot. Mark it at 4.
Well, we'll see. We're here. They're at the 39-yard line. Now that kicking game may come into play.
All this ground game, clock grinding away.
Yeah.
2nd down and 6. Handoff to Ross. Ross, good pursuit by Los Alamitos. Couple of missed tackles, and again, just a few yards given up. No big plays given up by the red shirts.
Boy, you've got to be impressed with both defenses. I've been impressed all season with the Griffins defense. The one thing that you asked yourself all season, though, is were they really tested by those teams that they played? But here's the thing. They really pounded those teams that they played defensively.
3rd down and 4. Handoff. Rice. That's going to be shy about a yard. And again, now you look at it, likely a 4th down option for the Chargers.
Oh, well, he's surely going to go for this, just based on what he's done. Based on what he's done throughout the game, to go for this on 4th and 1.5. They had to waste a timeout early, so you can't try and draw them off sides or do a no play and call a timeout, because you don't want to burn a timeout and leave yourself with just one.
And with 8:32 left, you'd hate to say that they've got to watch the clock, and yet the way these teams are grinding up time, you got to be careful of that. And that'll be enough for the first down on the second effort. Yeah. Rice with just enough.
Good second effort by Rice. You know, both Rice and the back Ross, you know, they're not big guys by any stretch of the imagination, but they line up deep in that backfield, and they're tough backs.
Rice only 185-pounder, Ross 155, and Herrera, the big guy, at 180.
Yeah, so just take off 10 to 15 pounds on each guy, because you know how they do those rosters.
I've heard about that.
Yeah.
8:06 left in week 2. Ross is your tailback. He gets the call, breaks out of a tackle. And Los Alamitos, who's been solid all night, gives up the biggest run of the night. Chargers down to the 10-yard line.
You know, because the thing that's impressive about their backs, and especially that run by Ross, is they keep their feet moving. They keep their feet moving, and they're trying to go north-south.
Bring the ball out now to the 11-yard line. First down, Chargers. Give. Ross. He'll be out close, and we got a man down. And that is King.
Let's hope it's just a cramp. 58.
He's up and he's down. He's trying to get up. Boy, Garrett King, 6 foot, 220-pounder.
Yeah, that's a young man that did not want to come out of the game. That's why he was trying to get up so fast.
Let's take another look at that. Can't really see. I think he's in the middle of that. Now there. It looked like he got folded over a bit there. The way he was moving around, it was almost looked like he'd gotten dinged a little bit and was a little bit disoriented. Yet they are working on that leg.
Yeah, it looks like on the left leg.
Yeah, you're right. He did not want to come out.
No, didn't want to come out.
You got to love the, these young men who just fight to be in every play. And it's competitive at these two schools. I mean, you're not going to guarantee to play when you're, maybe used to it at a lower level. There's a lot of competition.
Oh, absolutely. Both cities, in the city of Huntington Beach and in the city of Los Alamitos, have good youth football programs. I know if you go over to Edison any day during the week, all of their fields are just full with youth football league players, and they all stay together and they all play. They get some kids that come out of the Fountain Valley area and different parts of Huntington Beach. And so, by the time they get to high school, it's very competitive in both cities.
Kevin, that injury break, as much as you hate to see it, probably helped Los Alamitos.
Yes.
They were getting worn down by that 295-pound average front for Edison, and that little extra break may have actually been a benefit to them.
Yes.
2nd down and 5, 7:26. Ross is your tailback. They give it to Ross, finds a crease. Los Alamitos closes quickly, yet not before Ross gets just inside the 5-yard line.
Because a back like Ross, he's just always moving. Even when it should be no gain, he falls forward and gets a yard or gets 2 yards. But each time that I've thought we've been at a point in the game where the big offensive line from Edison is wearing out the Griffins defense steps up and makes a stop. Let's see if they can make the most important stop of their season so far on this series.
Now Rice checks in. They give it to Rice up the middle. Touchdown Chargers.
I like these backs at Edison.
Well, and you've got 3 guys. We've called them almost equally all night long, and even on a given series. They're not getting more than about 2 carries per time back to back, and you gotta love the fresh legs.
Right, exactly. Coming into this game, I'll get to this after the PAT.
Kelly punches up, and that is good. 14-7. Los Alamitos down, and now it's gut check time because with 6:40 to go, that's about what it might take if you're going to run the whole field the way that Cody Marshall in this offense has. Plenty of time to make some things happen.
Yeah, just a good push. Like we said, it looked like they were wearing him down a little bit up front. Good push, but it's a good second effort. Back keeps his feet moving and gets into the end zone. And, the point I was going to make earlier is you look at the guys and their rushing totals. Rice, coming into the game, had 46 carries. Ross had 42 carries. Herrera had 35 carries. And the quarterback, Torgerson, had 25 carries. And so they use that 4-back system, and they keep these guys fresh to run behind that big offensive line.
Well, it's gut check time for the Griffins. 5-1 on the season, only lost to Charter Oaks. And I guess, Kevin, the one thing you look at is that first half pass underneath in the flat has been non-existent, not open here in the second half. Gordon going to take the ball on the 1-yard line. Going far side, cuts it back to the middle. Great pursuit by the Chargers. Mark it down at the 16-yard line. And the senior Cody Marshall needs to put a drive together.
Yeah, you know, those passes to the outside haven't been working because, you know, coaches made adjustments, finally got to their outside backers and got to their inside backer on that play side. Everybody's taking the correct drops and taking that play away. Against that 4 linebacker system, your open spots on the field, especially when you have multiple receivers, are straight up the seams. They're up the hash marks. Because even against that, now they're going into a 43 package 2 deep. Hard to throw that play against squat corners, though. Now they're going to 2 deep, and they're trying to throw that quick outside pass. But you've got a linebacker that's going to take hook to curl, and you've got your cornerback that's just sitting there for it. That play hasn't done much for him this game.
And it's developing too slow. Brownlow wisely jumps on that one. Second down 10. 6:29 left in the contest. Molina's your lone setback. They go Brownlow in motion. And that's picked off. Herrera just sitting out there. Touchdown, Chargers. The only pick thrown tonight by Cody Marshall, and we got a player down. And there's going to be a flag on that.
Look like possibly an illegal block that'll nullify that touchdown.
And whoever is down and out. And that looks like, is that Rowdy Bush that's down?
You know what happens now? Now they try and throw that. You've got 2 corners, 2 safeties deep, basically throwing into that cover 2, and you've got a guy dropping just right there, hook to curl.
It's got to be either Alanoff or Rowdy Bush. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can take a look at that. Herrera was the gentleman who picked the ball, so it's going to be on the left side here. Oh
yeah, helmet to 75.
So that's Alanoff, the left tackle, and he more or less just turned the corner and got popped.
Yeah, and it looked like number 2, is it Ballier?
Ballier.
Sorry about that. And he just led with his helmet. Good block, with the exception of leading with his helmet, and he took a helmet to the chin. And the tough play. On the return, that was Herrera on the return, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's just dropping right there, hook to curl. Hook to curl, and you have to be able to, number one, that's a read by the quarterback that you have to know what defense that you're throwing into pre-snap. And so you know that if a guy's going to run some sort of a slant or something there, that seam is not going to be there now, or less likely to be there against that 43 defense, against that cover 2, than it would be against that 44 where they're playing cover 3.
Alanoff will be a big loss if the Griffins get the ball back. 250-pounder, 6'2 senior. And again, the injuries have just continued to mount for the Griffins. So 6:21 left. The touchdown negated. However, ball on the 29. Chargers with the lead. And now their ball control offense, just what the doctor ordered. Ross, your tailback. And now what was 2-yard, 3-yard pickups are turning into 5- and 6-yard pickups. Mark that at about 6 yards. Los Alamitos with 2 timeouts. Edison with 2 timeouts.
There's still a lot of time in the game. They just need to come up, the Griffins do, with a stop here.
Well, the defense have gotten them here. Ross. Helmets flying. And that was, well, he's got to come out of the game.
Yep.
Derek Ballier, just a safety precaution.
Well,
so, third down, and now we got 3rd down and 3. So an important stop here for the Griffin defense.
Yeah, they can, you know, Edison can almost seal the game by putting points on the board here. So the Griffins definitely need to stop. They need to stop, and they need to stop now. You never know with the kicker, the confidence that the coaches have in the kicker. If you can stop him now, it's a long field goal attempt, so they'll probably go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got 2 downs to get 3 yards, although we've seen already Dave White, the gambler, went early in the game on a 4th down and 1. Los Alamitos stopped him, and there you see possibly the thought process of Hunter Kelly, the junior kicker.
Well, I can tell you, I've been watching Mr. Kelly. He's been warming up the whole second half.
Oh, okay.
So don't be fooled by
Coach,
that.
put me in.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Yeah, he's definitely ready. He's probably tired.
Oh, they're saying looks like put some time back on the clock. Oh, no, take some time off. Or is it?
The Edison coaches are here in the box communicating to the scorekeeper. Oh, yeah, a whole minute almost.
Yeah, no kidding. And Coach White
wants another minute taken off.
Yeah. How did we get off a full minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, now Coach White wanting an explanation, and I don't blame him. I mean, you know, that's a whole minute that was just put back on the clock. That favors certainly the Griffins.
Right, that's not 4 seconds, but almost a whole minute. But it seems that Coach White is satisfied with the explanation.
Ball's on the 22-yard line. 3rd and 3, and we would guess 2 down territory. So the Griffins need 2 stops.
Yeah, without question. And you know Edison is not going to take a chance by throwing the football, or you would think that they're not going to throw the football because they don't want a turnover and they don't want to lose any yards. They've been in the power eye all half. No need to change.
Ross is your setback. They give it to him. Great pursuit. That's going to be close. Great pursuit by Los Alamitos.
Yeah, he's still 2.5 yards short, maybe almost 3 yards short.
So Griffins need 1 more stop. And Cody Marshall will get another shot to redeem himself after the pick. Checking in, Stefanich, number 19. He's been involved tonight. So 4th down and 3. Ross stays in at tailback. They pitch it.
Oh, they got a good seal blocks on the outside.
Yep, and touchdown Chargers.
Yeah, they got good seal blocks on the outside, a good kick out, and a young man that knows how to run north-south and get to the goal line.
And so really the biggest ground breakdown defensively for Los Alamitos. And it took them all the way to 442 for it to break down.
But this is the first time all game that Edison has decided to run outside. So they're going to go just a good kick-out block, 2 good kick-out blocks, and a good cut by number 21, Ross, getting upside. That play was really initiated by number 80. Is it Marcus Boyer?
Yes, Marcus Boyer got a great block sealing off and creating that opening. So 21-7, and it really doesn't tell the whole tale, but turnover's critical.
Yes.
Edison made a mistake with the turnover that Los Alamitos capitalized on, and Chargers just returned the favor.
Yes, they did. But here's the thing: 4 minutes left. Both teams 2 timeouts. Los Alamitos versus Edison on the football field. We've seen some strange things happen.
Don't go anywhere.
Right.
Now, the only issue here is if Los Alamitos wants to do anything, they have got to get aggressive, and that is what could be a challenge. This is a great defense the Chargers have brought tonight. It's been a great defense all year. So Cody Marshall is going to be under fire, and yet we've seen him put the ball on the mark Brownlow and Gordon back deep. They'll stand on their 5-yard line. They also dangerous return men.
And you know, but here's the thing. You have nothing to lose. You've got to take shots down the field. You've got to keep playing. This is for the championship.
They kick it to Gordon. He can be dangerous. Takes it on the 3-yard line. Nice return out to about the 27-yard line.
And we're saying this is for the championship just based on, you know, if you're one game behind Edison, then you've got to depend on other teams to beat them. And at this particular point, they're still, just based on everything that's gone on in the year, they look like the best team in the league. You've got to win this football game. So now's the time. Obviously, down 2 touchdowns with 4.5 minutes to go. We're going to see them throw the football. As long as he recognizes the defense going out, he's going to be okay.
Well, the challenge is they need a quick score. Let's go down a little further. They need an onside kick. They recover it, and another quick score. So, you know, lots of football still to be played, and Griffins are going to have to make some plays. Cody Marshall. Gordon, your man in motion. Looks like a hold. It'll be called. And actually surprised we haven't seen more of that tonight with that very quick front four, and that front four with 3 sacks on the night, 23 on the season.
Yeah, that was an obvious hold right in front of the white hat. Yeah, and that, you know, that Edison front four really does get after the quarterback.
So moving it back.
Yeah.
The Chargers been averaging 3 sacks a night for the first 6 weeks, and they got their 3 tonight. So tough defense. Clock back underway. The rollout, throwing off balance, and almost picked off.
That's where I said they've got to recognize the defense. If you've got a cornerback who is squatting, that's just not the play you're going to be able to run. And now they've got to run quick plays because that front four, led by Trenton Ashcroft, you've got Ashcroft, Ballier, Donnelly, Garcia. Ashcroft has 6 sacks and added to that total tonight, I think.
Gooddow almost had the pick, and Molina, and that's going to be a tough way to get it done.
Yeah, that's almost a way where you're trying to catch the defense off guard because you're on your heels. But you know what? You're down 2 scores with 4 minutes left. You can't play it close to the vest. If your quarterback makes a mistake, whatever mistakes he makes now, if he does, or any of your other players, that's not what's going to cost you the game. So you've got to take a shot.
3rd down and 20. Invaluable seconds ticking off the clock. Marshall to the air. There's that seam route. Threw it way up in the air. And nice catch by Pastel. Down to the 40-yard line. How did he get that? We have a flag on the play, and that may be rushing the passer. Pastel now has a cramp. So,
yeah, on that play against the defense, the dead spot there now, you've got 2 dead spots against that 2 deep zone. That one is on the outside because you're going to hit him between the cornerback and the safety in a great catch, or you're going to hit it up the middle. But a quarterback, you put it in the one spot where your guy can get it. And, yes, that was roughing the passer. Trenton Ashcroft for the Chargers, a little bit of a late hit.
And, you know, you said it. We'll take another look at it. And Cody Marshall, I don't even know if he saw the receiver. He just chucked it. Luke Pastel, what a catch. Stumbles across down to the 45-yard line. And that's the play they needed. And step off the penalty inside the 30-yard line. And a whole new set of options. A lot of things need to go the Griffins, their way before this is a victory for them. But they needed that one.
Yeah.
Dropping back, dumps it off. Molina out in open, gets around the corner. Nice pickup and touchdown. Los Alamitos, game on.
Yeah, plenty of time. They come out, run a screen because they've got to slow them down a little bit. Perfect play. Molina hit the outside, and he's gone from there.
And credit to Molina, that was a tough ball to catch. He had to literally turn his back, bend over to get it. Thank goodness he stayed on his feet, and what running and balance to stay in, not be ridden out of bounds and score.
Yeah, that pass and catch was the key, though. The pass and catch in the play before from Marshall to Pastel to totally set that up. Great play all the way around on that series.
And Frembling, and the JV kicker, needs this extra point. Snap back, ball down. It is up, and that is good. Okay, 3:21 on the clock. Do you kick it and hope your defense can hold them, or do you go onside?
Oh, well, you got to kick the football. Your defense has been playing well. You tell them now this is the time. You've just got to make a stop. You've got to keep those 2 timeouts as close to the vest as you can. And you know it's not like they've been able to throw the ball downfield. They're going to just run the football. So you've just got to toughen up, and you've just got to stop them because the defense has played well all night. You can't be fooled by the 21 points. And so if they get a stop, they've got to stop on first down, stop on second down. They may use a timeout at that time, but the key is not give up big yards on that first down. You've got to stop them on first down.
Each team with 2 timeouts. 3:21, 7-point differential. We told you, this is what we've seen a dozen years or so. This is the way it's gone.
Yeah. Now, what you know, now you're in a quandary if you're Coach Barnes. Do you use your timeouts on offense and defense? From what I've seen, he doesn't like to use them too much on defense. If you've got an inexperienced quarterback, it's tough to go into a final drive with no timeouts. And so now he's got to figure out what he's going to do.
Well, they do decide to go onside. Now, at least at this moment, they are. And interesting call with 3:21 on the clock. So maybe Barnes is saying, goes to Herrera, who's had very good hands tonight. So you give the ball up at the 50-yard line. So maybe you're thinking, all right, maybe my defense is wearing down, and I got to hope for the turnover.
Well, He knows his personnel much, much better than we do up here. If you're playing strategy with 3 minutes and 21 seconds and you've got 2 timeouts, you kick that ball off.
Well, they give it up now on the 50-yard line. Either way, they got to get a stop.
Yeah, I'm not going to give them a 50-yard field when they've just worn me down the field.
Keep it on the ground. Up the middle is Ross. Clock underway.
Yeah.
3:08.
And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to use my timeouts, because you can't let the time just click off. You're going to lose from when the ball is the referee blows his whistle. There's going to be 35, 40 seconds that's going to come off the clock each time. You've got to call your timeouts.
Griffins did get a good stop. They only gave up 2 on that first play. Ross again. And that'll be right at about pickup of 4. Maybe 3. So this will bring up 3rd down. So the Griffins doing what they need to do, and they call their timeout. They've got 1 left.
Yeah. Now if they run the ball, which you assume they'll do, or they'll do a run, play, pass option where you tell your quarterback you're going to do a play action, run the football if you can, don't run out of bounds. If it's a pitch and catch, your tight end's dragging across, go on ahead and hit him, but don't stop the clock by any stretch of the imagination. If they run this play, they'll probably get call this last time out if they do not get the first down. If they don't, they'll save it, for when they go on offense.
I'll tell you what, Griffin faithful, got to take your hat off to this defense. They have been on the field a lot tonight, and it has been a grinded-out game. I was in the tunnel when the Charger offensive line came out of the locker room. Mm-hmm. You said it. You've got some college-level size.
Yes,
and
yes,
the red shirts tonight have handled that and have kept this game to within 7 points. Very critical 3rd down.
Let's see if they go back to the outside toss
for both teams. Go to the air. Torgerson has the best catch of the night.
Well, they've set that up all night.
And that's Reyes.
They've set that play up all night, just by running that power eye and running that blaster power the whole game, and that may seal it unless they can get a turnover here.
Ryan Reyes with the catch there. Big pickup to get a new set of downs. 2:29 left. This is the series that the Griffins have to get a stop or they just won't have enough time. Ross, and now Ross is getting nice pickups. That line blowing open some holes.
Yeah, he was close to popping that one. Yeah, that first down pretty much sealed it. When you have to burn that early timeout, which they had to burn earlier in the half.
For Edison, they will be taking on Marina next week. And for Los Alamitos, they will hit the road. 7 home games for the Griffins tonight. And Griffins will travel and take on Fountain Valley.
Yeah, so they get it'll be Fountain Valley for the Griffins.
Ross bounces it outside. Haven't seen a lot on the outside tonight. Big pickup there.
Edison will have Fountain Valley after the Griffins. Edison will finish up Marina Fountain Valley over at Orange Coast College, which they'll probably sell that game out, and then finish up against Huntington Beach, with the Griffins having taken on Fountain Valley next week, Huntington Beach, and finishing up against Newport Harbor. And, you know, they're going to have to win out because you never know. You never want to leave it up to a coin toss and potential 3-way ties in second and third place.
Ball on the 7-yard line. First and goal to go. Keep it on the ground. Give us to Ross. May have gotten to the 5. And timeout Los Alamitos. That will be their last one. Bring up second down. Just inside the 5-yard line as the mark is.
Well, Fritz, I can tell you this. The Griffins on defense are the real deal. With anyone in this division, if you can play with Edison in this division defensively, you can play with anyone. And the Griffins, the defense has just not been in a very good spot because of field position the whole game. They've played everything on their side of the field and have only given up 21 points.
Well, they've been on the field a lot, and I thought we would actually see them wearing down more with the size of that O-line, and it just hasn't happened. They're still flying to the ball.
Yes, they're definitely still flying to the football. They've gotten some bad breaks, but the defense is the real deal. And as you get further into league, obviously, and into the CIF playoffs, they're going to have to be really physical.
First down and 4. Oh, and nice stop by the defense. That looked like a for sure touchdown as Ross was getting up to full speed. DeMonte King comes up to make the tackle. He's been involved in a few head-on collisions tonight. About 1.5 yards. So Los Alamitos looking at going to 5-2. Edison going to 6-1. Los Alamitos 1-1 in Sunset League play. Ball's on the ground. Wow, that could have made things interesting.
Yeah.
What am I sitting here talking about what the record is? We got a Edison game to finish up here, and anything can happen.
Well, here's the thing. Los Alamitos has no timeouts. You are second down. That was third down?
Yep.
It's tough. You don't want to down it, but you darn sure don't want to fumble. But you're stuck. If it's second down or first down, you go on ahead and down it. Even here, you just go on ahead, let it go down to the end, call a timeout, down it, and tell them to go 96 yards on fourth down. but you definitely don't try to run it into the end zone if you're not going to kick it. You know, you don't. If you don't want to kick it, he's not going to kick the field goal.
Now 19 seconds left, and as you can see, the way this whole game has gone, nobody is taking any chances, and they want to talk about it all.
Yeah, if you have confidence in your kick game, even if you do have confidence in your kick game, it's a tough decision as to whether you want to seal the game by kicking the field goal, because a block and a run back the other way, and that's it. Do you just take a knee and say, okay, you guys go 96 yards or 94 yards with no timeouts? Or do you just go on ahead and kick the field goal? It looks like Coach White is going to kick the field goal. So you want to make sure that there's maximum protection, on that, because you're sending 11 guys if you're the Griffins.
Hunter Kelly.
Why they're not sending everybody on this, I have no idea. They're not going to fake it.
Out of the hold of Herrera. Snap back, ball down, kick is up, and that is good.
Yeah. On that, they probably rushed 8 guys. They had 3 guys back or a couple of guys. You like to see, you really have to go after it. What happens if you run into the kicker? I mean, no big deal, but you go after it.
So now I will say Los Alamitos will drop to 5-2, 1-1 in Sunset League play. Edison will go to 6-1, and they are 2-0 in league play. And there's some happy cheerleaders for the Edison Chargers.
Well, there's a couple teams in the Southwest Division. Valencia beat up on Yorba Linda tonight. And Yorba Linda was just they're ranked 5th in the division, so you're going to have a shift in the top 5. Villa Park will probably jump, assuming that they have a win tonight. They'll jump Los Al. And, you just want to try to position yourself now. And like Coach Barnes had told you, he was going for win 301. He's not thinking of anything past that. And that's how you have to think the rest of the way. You've just got to win the next one.
Gordon and Brownlow back for the Los Alamitos Griffins. And not many options. Down by 10 with 17 ticks on the clock. So Kelly puts it in the air right down the middle. This is going to go to Brownlow, taken on the 6-yard line. Brownlow dancing around, gets out to about the 27, and 9 seconds left in week 2 of league play for the Griffins.
And looks like we had a Newport Harbor bounce back based on the scores here that I'm reading against Fountain Valley tonight.
Okay, so that tells you a little bit. Watch out for Newport Harbor.
You just never know. Second and third here, there's just such a fine line where you're going to have a couple of 3-2 teams, that sort of thing. Every game is critical now.
And we're seeing major prevent. Cody Marshall with the throw, the hook and the ladder. Wrong guy. That didn't go well, and clock runs out.
Yeah, there's no need for that in any event. There's no 10-point touchdown plays.
So there you have it, Los Alamitos, 1-1 in league play. Hard-fought battle. Let's give the game ball to the Griffins for a great defensive stand, and congratulations to the Edison Chargers as they will move on, and they keep their perfect league record alive. Their only loss on the season to Mater Dei. Kevin, your quick thoughts, both sides of the ball.
Well, both sides of the ball, I can tell you this. For both teams, the defenses were outstanding. But at the same time, the offenses just didn't take any risks. Edison could continue to do what they were doing because they've got almost a 300-pound average line. For the Griffins on offense, they just sputtered. They started out, Cody Marshall started out really, really fast, completing. Yeah, I think he was six or 8 completions in before he threw an incompletion. Then they just kind of sputtered. And neither team in the first half could capitalize on the mistakes. Second half, it was just all about mistakes and all about who capitalized.
Well, and that underneath pass in the flat was working in the first half, and Los Alamitos was really getting more out of that than I would have thought. And I was wondering, you were commenting, they're going to make those adjustments, and they did, and they took that away. Great coverage downfield. Cody, quite frankly, had to learn how to throw the ball away. He just didn't have anyone to go to.
Right. He didn't. You know, the Griffins every week, though, they've proven they're going to be in every single game because their defense is outstanding. What they've got to do is just figure out what they want to do on offense and have some playmakers. They really need playmakers on offense.
Well, second weekend, lots of Sunset League football still to come. Although you've got Edison in the driver's seat, and based on how some of the other scores are matching up, it would appear that they are well in the driver's seat. For Los Alamitos, they've got to win out and hope that somebody catches Edison on a tough night.
Yes, that's they can hope for. It's a tough Sunset League play. You never know what's going to happen. So all you can do now, you just have to. The only thing you got to do is take care of your own business and position yourself better for the playoffs.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching high school football here on Los Alamitos Television. For Keith Jones downstairs, for Kevin Robinson, my name is Fritz Pollard. Thank you for watching our presentation of high school sports. The final score here from the vet, 24-14, the Edison Chargers on top of the Los Alamitos Griffins. We'll see you next week, everybody. Good night.
Good night, everyone.